Hello, welcome to Solomon Scott Personal Development Center. I'm Fonu Onogit. We have been talking about the sixth sense. The sixth sense is something that is outside our five known senses: the sense of sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Fantastic senses that protects our lives and make living worth the while, makes us comfortable, safe wherever we go. But all of these senses will keep us in the natural realm because they are natural senses. Intuitive mind, intuition, is the sixth sense that takes us beyond the ordinary into the realm of the extraordinary, that takes us beyond the natural into the supernatural. I know many of you who are listening, you pray. Prayer is you speaking to God. But there is another aspect to prayer. When God speaks to you, intuition is God speaking to you. I know many times when we pray, we expect to have a dream, we expect to have a vision, we expect to have some a loud noise, something that says this is from God. But many times it comes as an intuition. God speaks to us and He wants us to know the direction to go. Of course, when we read science books, read economics books, read many other things, we can develop our rational mind and be able to take rational decisions. But take, for example, Joseph in Genesis. Pharaoh lived his regular life. There was really nothing amiss at that point in time in Egypt. The sun came up as usual. The economy was not in distress. But Pharaoh had a dream. And then he sought an interpreter. Joseph came in and told him the meaning of his dream. We are going to go into 7 years of plenty. And after the 7 years of plenty, there will be 7 years of serious famine that threaten the life not just of Egypt, but of the entire world. There was nothing happening at the moment that will give a clue. There is no rational way of projecting into that near future. There is nowhere you could have read it. It is intuition. God speaking to Pharaoh, the king, but even himself cannot understand it. It took a man who is already experienced in respecting his intuition to understand it. And that made the whole lot of difference. That made Egypt an extraordinarily powerful nation because of Joseph, who had an instruction from God. In many other areas of life, in our day-to-day life, there is no way of telling our future from what happens today. Of course, there are some things we can predict with our rational mind. In our tradition, we said, the way the evening will be, we see it from the morning. Well, that is true, but that is to a little extent. But many times, the important things of the future is not known. So when you will pray to God, we must be sensitive to allow ourselves to read the intuitive instructions that God gives to us in the place of prayer or shortly after the place of prayer. In this life, the very best of us. That's why there are some things we call them emergencies, because they are not expected. They are not anticipated. They just came. But for God, there are no emergencies. God knows clearly the next 10 years. God knows clearly the next 50 years. If you like, God knows clearly the next 1,000 years. So intuition is God giving you a piece of what He knows, especially the ones that is to your belly. It is so important in preparing for life, in taking decisions, to have what we can call an inside information. So many of us are already used to praying. We wake up in the morning with prayer. We want to go on a journey with prayer. You arrive at your place of work, you pray. That is very good. That is excellent. But there is another aspect to it. The reply. The aspect of God responding to you. Your communication with God should not be one way. It should be two ways. You speak with God, He speaks with you. He is happy that you honor Him by putting Him first in your life. Pray, asking for His help, asking for His guidance. He relates with you by the intuitive mind that He has given you. I know sometimes He says, my ways are not your ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways. So it might not always be 2 + 2 making 4. It might not always conform with our rational thinking. It might not always conform with what we expect. But since He knows beyond us, He gives you an information that can guide how you will act. So it is very important for us to learn the process, to develop, to mature our intuitive mind such that we know what to do, what not to do. If you talk to many people who are now old, they can look back with the benefit of a hindsight. They know areas of their life that they regret. They know areas of their life that, they are deeply sorry. Decisions they took that they would not have taken if they had a second chance. But if they will also be honest with you, they will tell you at each of those tragedy points, they will tell you, one mind told me not to go that route. One mind told me not to do it that way. That one mind is the intuitive mind. They will tell you the reason they didn't follow that mind then is because the other options appear more credible. The other options appear more rational. But the real reason is they have not learned the capacity of trusting that intuitive mind. That is why they didn't follow. So please bear in mind, when you pray, you are speaking to God. When you have an intuition, it is God speaking to you. Thank you very much for being a part of this video. Remember to subscribe if you haven't. Remember to Share if you haven't. And we particularly love to hear from you. Make a comment so that we can see what your mind is about the podcast. Thank you, and God bless you.